that is when you're going to have a shift and change in your period from what you're doing right now. What's happening right now is a combination of your health and especially up to 3 months ago. Yeah. It's dang near impossible to change overnight, and it's unrealistic to expect your system to change like that. That's not how the female body works, right? So start making these changes now. Start implementing better sleep habits. Do a sleep routine at night. Get to bed earlier. Stop looking at screens. Wake up in the morning. Get outside. Get your feet on the ground. Get the sunlight on your naked eyeballs. No contacts, no glasses, no screen protector things, nothing. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. How do I know if this is perimenopause? How do I know if it's that and not something else? We're going to dive into that today and talk all about perimenopause, talk about some symptoms, and some really important things for you to understand about this shift and change in life overall. So I'm Dr. Beth Westy, women's health and hormone expert, host of the podcast, The Female Health Solution. And I love talking about this stuff because we're going to talk about it in a different way than you've typically heard it. Most of the time when people talk about perimenopause, they mention all these negative symptoms, right? Oh, you're going to have fatigue and mood swings, irregular periods. Your period can be longer or shorter. It can be heavier or lighter. You can start to skip periods, right? You can have all these different changes. Those are all kind of textbook classic things. In fact, irregular periods, skipping periods, length of cycle changes, the quality of it can change, like the color, the consistency of your period can change, right? You can have hot flashes, night sweats, you can get warm, you can have trouble sleeping, trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, mood changes, more anxiety. You can have other dryness, a change in libido, you can have brain fog, you can have more joint pain, more muscle aches, weight gain, weight loss resistance, loss of muscle tissue, headaches, heart palpitation, breast tenderness, all these things. This sounds terrible, right? This sounds terrible. Here's the thing. Do you have to have all those symptoms? Is this like a doom and gloom for everybody? No, because what else goes along with all those other symptoms and issues? Cortisol. I had this conversation with someone recently. She was asking me, and we've been working together for several years. We worked through a bunch of things where she had like no androgens, really horrific periods, all this stuff. And she was wondering, am I going into perimenopause early? And I was like, girl, no, your estrogen is through the roof. What the heck? No, not at all. And then we were talking about all the other things. So she has been doing fantastic for years. She recently got her annual Dutch test because she's like, I want to stay on top of it. I don't want any issues to come out of nowhere and get me. I just want to make sure things are doing well. Great, right? We're just doing maintenance, and she's doing all the healthy things and maintaining everything. Fantastic. But she did ask me, hey, do I need to go on hormones? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, at my annual checkup, they said, because you're approaching, 50 now and this, that you're probably going to need to go on hormones soon. And I was like, really? She goes, yeah. And I know some of my friends are on hormones and things like that. Is that something I'm going to have to do? And I was like, okay, everybody's take on this can be a little bit different. But here's the thing that I think about. Why would you need to go on hormones if your hormones are great? I was like, from everything that I'm seeing on your report, looks really good, right? And your last one was good. This one's good. We're maintaining beautifully, right? And I was like, do you have hot flashes or night sweats? She's like, no. I was like, do you have really bad mood swings? No. Do you have hair falling out? Do you have this, that, and the other? Do you have any of these other symptoms or issues? No, not really. I mean, sometimes I get tired, but I stay up too late and I'm scrolling on social media, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, right, fair, right? So she's like, I'm doing great. I was like, then you can go through perimenopause and really have very minimal symptoms. This is a normal process that happens for women, right? If you are female, right, and you maintain your organs throughout your life and you go through puberty, you're going to go through menopause. It is part of the process. Why are we trying to deny this or say like it's a bad thing in some form or fashion? It's not. It's how the body was made. There's a problem when your system is struggling with things. And more often than not, what I see is an issue with cortisol's. Cortisol's influence on the estrogen progesterone balance and influence there, inflammation overall, gut health issues, all of that stuff. That's what influences your journey through perimenopause. It's very similar to puberty. It's reverse puberty. That's what it is. It's reverse puberty. Does it take time? Yes. Are there some women that go from having a regular period to all of a sudden not having a period? Yes. Absolutely. Right? And then that's it. Then they're like, "Oh, that was it." Yep. I had a gal who she thought she was in menopause. She was in her late 40s and she's like, "Yep, my cycle was really irregular for about 6 months." And she's like, "I haven't had a period in 3 months, da 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 da." And I was looking at stuff and I was like, "Well, this is what we're going to work on. Here's what we're going to do." And I was like, "You might get a period back based on what I'm seeing." And she was like, "No way." I was like, I'm just letting you know, right? I'm not psychic by any means, but I wouldn't be surprised if, because when we start working on these things that are really deficient, your system's functioning better, that all of a sudden you start having a period. And she was like, "I don't know about that." I was like, "Okay." Lo and behold, it was about 5 weeks later, she got a period and she was like, "Whoa, well, maybe this is the last one." I was like, "Okay." And then it was literally every 28 or 29 days after that. And she was like, "Come on, I thought I was done. I thought I was done with this." I know. But this is what your body's meant to do. This is the natural production of things. What are all the things that can influence perimenopause for you overall? Again, your sleep, your stress levels, your gut health, the environment that you're in. Do you get outside time? Are you able to exercise regularly? How many years have you been doing that? Do you drink? How many years have you not drank for, right? What are your genetics? Those things all play a role in this. So this is why I think it's so helpful to have tools and support overall. This is why I developed tinctures to help your system, so that if your system starts becoming irregular, you have tools to help align your body easily as you're working on lifestyle factors, as you're working on getting better sleep, as you're working on everything else. Right? I have tinctures for stress, the adrenal balance. This is without a doubt my number one selling tincture, which I was surprised at. But it is because it is so dang effective for helping your body manage stress. And especially when you are feeling like you have mood swings, mood dysregulation, brain fog, and your stress levels have been through the roof for years already. It's such a helpful tool to help take that down. And then the sleep tincture that helps you get to sleep, helps you stay asleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep, this is a great tool to use because it's not melatonin based at all, and you're not going to be groggy in the morning. It really helps just bring you down and really calm the brain. When your brain is like, "Oh my gosh, I'm spinning. I woke up at 1 a.m. and all these thoughts are going and I can't shut my brain off." It helps to mitigate that response because that's a stress response. So that's what those herbs are designed for. And I formulated it for the female body to help you get to sleep, to stay asleep. It's wonderful to have. And again, women are more sensitive or sensitive differently than men are to sleep aids and things like that. So it's important that you're recognizing what your body's doing and to help your overall circadian rhythms. And when we're talking about perimenopause and that really difficult, the timing of your period and all these other things, it's more than just that. It's more than just estrogen and progesterone. It has to do with cortisol. It has to do with your circadian rhythms. It has to do with your gut health. It has to do with everything. So if you're just focused on, "Oh, my period is early or my period is late," you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point of supporting your body to function really well. It starts now, and what you do right now influences your period 2 to 3 months from now. So if you want to have a regular period, think forward for whenever you're hearing this message right now, think forward 3 months. That is when you're going to have a shift and change in your period from what you're doing right now. What's happening right now is a combination of your health and especially up to 3 months ago. Yeah. It's dang near impossible to change overnight, and it's unrealistic to expect your system to change like that. That's not how the female body works, right? So start making these changes now. Start implementing better sleep habits. Do a sleep routine at night. Get to bed earlier. Stop looking at screens. Wake up in the morning. Get outside. Get your feet on the ground. Get the sunlight on your naked eyeballs. No contacts, no glasses, no screen protector things, nothing. Exercise regularly. Get protein in, protein paste. Hydrate yourself. Work on your gut health if you have gut issues, which you can message me about. And then using tools like these tinctures can really help your system overall to support what you're doing. I've had gals where, and again, I talk a lot about Dutch testing. I talk a lot about doing, testing and targeting things and things like that. But there's a lot of women that I get messages from. And I love these messages where they'll be like, okay, I found your podcast or I watched your videos and this and this, and I was thinking about getting a Dutch test, but you said this. You talked about these things. And I thought, oh my gosh, yeah, I have been bloated, but I've been so used to it. I thought I was just fat. I thought I was just puffy. It's inflammation. I thought it was just like that for me. I thought I was going to have brain fog. And they really dedicate to making these changes, right? Like I can tell you to take the best supplement on the planet, but if you're not sleeping, it doesn't matter. Start with this stuff. So I have so many women that will start with this. They're like, okay, I'm going to work on my sleep. They get tinctures as a support tool, right? I'm just going to start with these tinctures. I'm going to get the sleep tincture. I'm going to get the cortisol tincture. I'm going to get the tinctures for estrogen and progesterone. Those are fantastic things to have. So then they start taking these herbs in a cyclical pattern, timed differently, and combined with, I'm going to get to bed early. I'm going to get up and get outside and ground myself. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to get protein in. And then, oh yeah, I started taking a probiotic, or maybe I'm doing something different for my gut, or maybe I'm this, that, or the other. And they'll notice, even after a couple months of being mostly consistent, not even 100%, even 70 or 80% consistent with that, they'll have a huge improvement in their symptoms. Your body is designed. It was created and designed to function in an optimal way. It's only when things get in the way of that. What things get in the way of that? Sometimes being a human, stress, getting sick, having certain genetics, right? It's just life sometimes. So it's really important to first get back to the basics. Get back to the basics of health. Take it into your hands. This is important. You can't out-supplement a bad diet. You can't out-supplement no sleep. But you can support the system with the right tools, and tinctures are a great place to start. Work on this and you'll be amazed at how different your body responds when you really, really stick to it. The hardest thing, honestly, about sticking to it is changing your life in that fashion. Like really changing your life, like really changing your life, like really going down the rabbit hole of, I'm going to live this, pattern that's best for me. Or I had a gal who she was like, yeah, my husband, wants to stay up late because he likes to connect with me. We put the kids to bed and that's our time together, da, 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 da. So he likes to stay up late. I was like, no, you need to be asleep by 10. Because she was staying up till 11, 12, all this stuff. And yet she was waking up really early with the kids. I was like, so if he wants time with you, get up early in the morning and do it. And she's like, well, I don't know if he would. I was like, me and my husband, that's when we spend our quality time together. 5 a.m. Cup of coffee, right? Our 5 a.m. Like he's drinking coffee. I have a shake first. But yeah, that's when we have our quiet time together. on a daily basis. Otherwise, I've got stuff, he's got stuff, kids, da 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 da. And by the time night comes, like we're both tired and now our kids are older. So they stay up later. But that's your time to connect. If you want time to connect on a daily basis, which is very healthy for a relationship, shift it to the morning. I said that's better. If you wake up 15 or 20 minutes earlier, but get to bed 2 hours earlier, it's going to make a world of difference for how you feel. I guarantee it. The earlier you can get to sleep, the better your body is going to reset. The more helpful it's going to be for your cortisol levels. Make these important changes and get the right tools to help you. And again, a great place to dip your toe in is just starting with the tinctures. So I hear it from women all the time. They'll say, I heard this thing and I did this. I made myself a schedule and I stuck to it. And holy bananas, did it make a difference? And yep, I layered in those tinctures and that was really great. So they'll have these issues. I was thinking about getting a Dutch test and I didn't even need one. Great. I had someone once she actually bought a Dutch test and she was like, I'm waiting for my next period to take the Dutch test, da, 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 da. And she started making these changes, but started noticing improvements. So she held on to the Dutch test. She's like, well, let me keep going. Let me go another month with this. More and more improvements. Again, all from just stuff that I talk about, right? All from like realizing, oh my gosh, I'm going to tweak this. I'm going to get more protein here. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to layer in these tinctures. She was already doing the tinctures. And she was like, the issues I was struggling with are gone, but she had a Dutch test. So she gifted it to her sister and she emailed me. She's like, is that okay? I was like, for sure. I mean, it's your test. You can gift it to your sister if you want. Her sister was really struggling and wanted a Dutch test. So she gifted it to her sister for her sister's birthday. Yeah. So it's just, it makes a big difference if you have the right tools, right? So starting with that is really important. So make sure you're checking out the tinctures. Estro Balance, Progesterone Balance, the Adrenal Balance, and then the Sleep Support Tincture makes a world of difference when you layer them in correctly. Now, if you have questions on this, do not hesitate to reach out to me. If you need other support, do not hesitate. If you need something else, that is what I am here for. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in and being here. I so appreciate you guys. I love it when you share your stories with me and just tell me how much like the information that I'm sharing with people, that like you can make these little changes and it makes the biggest impact in your life overall. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.